This is the Go Local Brief, brought to you by Go Local Interactive. Every episode, we dig into digital marketing, technology, and AI and pull out what self-storage operators actually need to know. Today, we're sitting down with Go Local's organic product owner, Thomas Adams, to talk organic search, content strategy, and why the rise of AI in search is changing the game for self-storage operators. Let's get to it. Welcome back to the Go Local Brief. This is the part of the show where we talk about the news. I'm Shane Adams. With me is Jason Barrett, as always, our co-founder. And we're going to talk about three stories that we have today. The first one, we're going to brag a little bit. I don't know. I mean, our very own Melanie Tershak was published in Inside Self Storage. Yep. Her story was really like a primer on GEO and its implications to storage, which is, I think, sort of a follow-up from like her presentation at ISS. Yep. Jason, you've talked a lot about the importance of GEO as we kind of go into as this technology evolves. Talk about like the way in which smaller and medium-sized operators can think about GEO in a way that is important for them and easy for them to step into. Yeah,
I think it's interesting because I would set it up by saying, excuse me, think about how you're doing your own search activity now. And I think it's changing a little bit. And I start there because if that's true, then we know, how is it changing? Well, a little bit less Google, Bing, et cetera, with 10 results and scrolling through to find the one you want, and quite a bit more of, at a minimum, the AI suggested result at the top. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are just going to, like, starting with ChatGPT, maybe Claude, Gemini, whatever it might be. Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, then I guess what I'm trying to say is then that establishes the kind of a newer norm. Yeah. It's going that route, and you can just see it in yourselves out there. And so I would just say, if that's the case, then what do we need to do to become the answer that those models are providing? Mm-hmm. Now, we had talked about it in the past that thankfully, these models will be dated. So like right now we're on Chat GPT's on 5.5, Opus is on 4.7, just to date this podcast. Right. I'm sure it won't last long. But anyhow, that's where we are. And those are current, and the model was built up to a certain point. I don't have that memorized. It changes too much. They've built in a lot more skills and tools and whatnot, and these things can now go and they've been able to do this for a while, but crawl and get like recent results. Go look at a web page today. And so in order to become the result, it's the same sort of base that it was for SEO, mm-hmm. which really comes down to content. Yeah. It's just, there's no better way. If you're doing the right thing from a content perspective, you're off to a good start. Right. So do you have your location pages built out? Have you noted all of your amenities by location? This is where it gets to be a little bit more, it scales a bit, because location times amenity times, whatnot. And all of a sudden what was 10 pages becomes a couple hundred, maybe 1,000. Well, and I think one of the important things, in addition to ensuring that your pages are built out and have the content on them, is ensuring that like structurally they're clean so they can be crawled more easily. And we kind of gloss over technical SEO a lot of times, and it's a super important part of the process is ensuring that not only is your data there, but it's structured in a way that makes sense and places the right amount of importance and crawlability to the bots that are crawling it. And for just real quick, because we kind of jump into this and I always mm-hmm. gloss over what GEO is. It sounds like SEO. It's not. It's GEO is generative engine optimization, which is like the AI Gemini. And you should have been able to figure it out based on what we were talking about. But Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity. Right. It's optimizing your content so that you appear in those results. So sorry. Go ahead and continue before I interrupt you. Yeah, and I would also say I apologize for what is supposed to be a news segment turning into a bit of education, but at the same time, this is it's that time in the world right now, and so content's super important. Page, like you said, technical site and site factors, super important. In the past, we used to try to block agents, bots, etc., and nowadays you really want to think twice about that. My personal opinion would be to open it up, let them have it. You want them to digest the content. Something that's kind of closely related. I have a website, Houston.com, and I just bring this up because on that particular site, I want anybody and everybody. I want the engines there. I want the agents there. I want the bots there. And so what I end up doing, and I think it's relevant right here, is I actually use markdown files for each page. So you all will experience the human version. But if you were an agent, you would just pull that same page .md.
Oh.
And you would be given a really stripped down, markdown version of that page. And it's literally built for the agents so that it will rank.
Right.
Yep. I want them to know exactly what we've got and where it is.
Well, and I've run into that when I've been trying to input a long article into Claude because I don't want to read it, and I'm like, hey, summarize this. I'm lazy. I know. But I've run into places where they're like, I'm sorry, I can't pull that because of the way that it's structured. And I think to myself, why would you do that?
Right.
And I mean, like, I get it. Like, sometimes you're paywalling things and you're trying to protect the content but at the same time, I'm like,
oh, you want to
come on
open it
now.
up, and so again, I was looking at my analytics this morning just to give you all a real world example. So a site like Houston could bring in millions of visits a month. Mine, I just launched it not long ago, so I'm not getting that amount of visits. I probably get 300 to 500 visits a day. If you had gone a year ago, I might get a couple that are coming from ChatGPT, and then you rewind maybe 6 months ago, and it was maybe 5, 6, 7, 8. I looked this morning; it was 42. And that doesn't sound like a lot when you lay it up against say 500, but it's 10%,
right?
And so you're all of a sudden. I mentioned this. You and I had this discussion. It's growing exponentially, but the number that it's growing on is so small. Like, let's say it's doubling.
Yeah.
But it's that thing where you fold a piece of paper 7 times and you get to the sun.
Yeah.
7.
Yeah.
Just because those last folds are enormous.
Right.
So we went from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, and now here we are at 42.
Right.
And we're just steps away from it taking over.
Yep.
And so that's why it's important. That's why the article went out with Melanie. That's why she talked about it at ISS. That's why it was my roundtable topic. It's really, really important.
Well, and GEO will continue to dominate, I think, news cycles because I think storage is really quite advanced when it comes to
believe it or not
stepping into AI, and I think there's a lot of technological investment there, and I think we're going to see more and more stories about like how our operators that we know of can take advantage of AI on that topic.
Yeah.
It's a nice transition.
Well done.
And I thought that was. So our next story is actually about one of our partners, Anytime Storage, who is partnering with another of our technology partners, Patchwork Labs. They announced this past week that Anytime is now using Patchwork's AI call software to answer operations calls.
That's pretty cool.
I think it's neat that we have 2 of our partners working together in that way. But 2, I think this continues a conversation that we've been having, I think, since ISS, which is AI. You need to let AI do the things that AI is good at, which is these kind of repeatable tasks, like answering a phone, ensuring that somebody gets an answer. And then in 80% of the cases, I think that's the number that Patchwork uses, 80% of the cases, the AI can answer the question.
Yep.
In the other 20%, Patchwork has a really nice, handoff feature.
Yeah, you were talking about that.
I think that you can build the rules in to allow a fairly easy handoff to go from AI to a live person. But I think that is an example of what is happening, which is AI is enabling people to remove some of these repeatable tasks so that they can focus their human tasks on the real person-to-person relationships. And I think this sounds like, and is an example of one of a Go Local client who is taking advantage of this in a good way. So kudos to Anytime, because I think it's great.
Yeah, and I'll just throw in, I mean, you covered it there, but the guys at Patchwork that I've spoken with, that team over there, it's sharp.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're operators, they're owners and operators themselves.
Right.
So they built it and it works, and they know that because they use it for themselves.
Yep.
You know, and this concept of, you know, just like operating without humans in the loop has been around for a while. You know, there were kiosks there for a while. There are some folks use like a remote, like literally a kiosk where you could put somebody's face and you'd be talking to somebody, but they're not physically there. This is kind of that next iteration or the next phase. And to your point, it's really good technology. And when it gets to its limit, its current limit, people step in. It's real intelligent. For those of you at home, the analytics, the dashboard, the reporting is really good. And I say that coming from a marketing agency perspective, where we have really good dashboards,
right?
Really good analytics.
Well, and we're and I think one of the on the roadmap for Go Local is, if you are somebody like Anytime, and you are a Patchwork partner, we're going to be able to pipe that that data into Essential Insights.
Yep, exactly.
So that you can see that all in one reporting
it's all
dashboard.
In the Go Local cloud.
Right.
Yeah.
Really, really cool stuff. And
slick.
I was just talking with the Patchwork guys today about another cool tool that we're partnering with them on the paid side. But we'll keep that on the down low, because it's a secret right now. All right. Third story. Consolidation is happening.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not just happening here. It's happening all over the world.
Yep.
The number one operator in Australia and New Zealand is looking to potentially be acquired. It's a REIT in New Zealand and Australia going to be acquired for $2.6 billion. Now, that chump change to Public Storage, who just bought NSAT for $10 billion, but still, it's still pretty big acquisition.
Yeah, I think I say neat, like it's gone on forever. It's a very M&A heavy area. There's a lot of capital. I think the interesting piece here is how far up it's happening. I mean, to have, again, back to the public and NSA/T or add T. I can't think of them any other way than NSA, but that's a huge transaction. Then you roll down there to Australia and you're looking at another multi-billion-dollar transaction. We're not talking about like, just a group of folks that are buying 10 to 20, or maybe a bigger portfolio of 100. We're talking like, this is substantial.
Right. It's thousands of locations.
Yeah. And so, I think it's just one of those unique times. There are only so many times the top can consolidate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And so we're at a point here where it's happening a lot all at once. But interesting. I know several of our own clients are out there, very active right now.
Right.
Pulling together, new purchases and whatnot. And so,
back to the story we were literally just talking about, Patchwork's one of them. Like Patchwork, their operator side, I think they're trying to acquire 1 to 2 locations every single month. And what's incredible about that is because they're enabling their technology, they've been able to scale at this really incredible rate where I think they're doing like 20 locations per live person or something like that.
Yeah, and then it's our job on our side to be ready to handle all that, and that's the key for us with the technology and the innovation, the automation, the AI that we're doing is we're trying to be right there in lockstep with the industry so that we're an easy choice for them to make. So.
Yeah. Well, that's all we got for the news today. Anything you were thinking about that you want to talk about?
I don't think so. Nothing that I would add. I'm anxious for some news that's it seems like it's consolidation every
It's
time
all
we get on it.
consolidation these days.
Yeah, AI and consolidation, but it's good. I'm glad to bring it forward, and we'll see what comes up here in a couple of weeks.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me, Jason. That's the news. That's the local front. And let's get to the rest of the show. We're going to talk to Thomas Adams, who is the product owner for Organic, which is nice because we're going to talk about GEO.
That'll be a really
too.
good one.
So
yeah.
good.
All right.
Welcome to the Go Local Brief. This is the main section of our podcast today. And today we are talking with Thomas Adams. Thomas Adams is the organic product owner here at Go Local. We are not related, despite the fact that we are both bearded.
Yes.
And I think sometimes people get mistaken.
I get it all the time.
Yeah.
Like you're Shane's cousin, right?
Yeah.
Brother, cousin.
Right. But we wanted to bring Thomas in because there's a huge movement right now in this area of AI and SEO and GEO and organic content and everything that's going on. So Thomas, before we get into all of that, I want you to just give the listeners just a quick kind of background on what brought you to Go Local in the first place and kind of your background.
Yeah. So I got started doing SEO way back in ye olden days of 2014.
2014.
2014.
It's a good year.
It's a great year.
Yeah. Pre-COVID.
It's wild. It kind of occurred to me. I'm like, 2014. I got married in 2016. That was 10 years ago. That's wild.
12, actually.
Yeah, 12 for 2014, but I celebrate my 10 year anniversary.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
I'm jumping around.
No, yeah.
But I got started in 2014, and really I just graduated college, was working at a grocery store, and I did what any broke college kid would do. I went to the internet and I typed in, how do I make money? And after I got scammed a few times and joined a couple MLMs, literally true stories.
Selling Melaleuca and...
I literally got approached by Melaleuca. I'm not kidding.
Of course.
And Amway and a bunch of other ones. But I was just kind of looking around, and one thing that I landed on was building affiliate websites, which I don't have to necessarily get into that, but if you know, you know. But basically, it involved building websites using WordPress. And from there, I would build the website, but then you had to get traffic to come to your website.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I was looking into, all right, I could go the paid media route. Kind of scares me a little bit because I could overspend or what, that whole thing just seems a little scary. Or I could go the SEO route, the organic route. And so I decided to go down the organic route. And so I just started kind of teaching myself. And so I did that for about a year, and then quit my job at the grocery store. And then I got a job, an entry-level job at another company that allowed me to start doing SEO for them. And then from there, actually, my second SEO job was here at Go Local.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And so then I worked here for about a year and a half. Then left, bounced around, and then inevitably came back in 2023.
Nice.
So as a senior SEO specialist, and then I worked my way up. I became supervisor, and then I was the manager, and now I am like you mentioned, the product owner, which is I'm overseeing the productization of organic, working on building automations for the team, working on AI integration within our product for the organic side. It's just kind of a role that I've been evolving into. And it's been cool to kind of be that next step to allow all of my expertise over the last, decade or so to be able to get integrated into the overall product.
Isn't that always like a cool, I've found it to be a cool part of a way a career can evolve is to kind of, it not to bastardize the term, but it can evolve organically.
It definitely can.
And I think that's a really interesting like dynamic of the way that that careers progress is sometimes opportunities open up. Like, did you think that you would be a product owner like in this kind of environment maybe 5 years ago?
No. Nope, had no idea.
Yeah, and I think part of that's what would you attribute that to? I think some of it's like tools are becoming a little bit more easy to develop and stuff like that. But.
So I would say, yeah, great question. I mean, I think a big part of it is with the advent of AI, it's allowing the bar of entry to kind of get more in the weeds with like development and that sort of thing. It's a lot lower because you can utilize like Claude Code, Google Anti-Gravity. There's a bunch of these different tools. So it allows somebody like me who I have some like very minimal experience with the development. You know, like I said, I would build WordPress sites. So I kind of understand like, you know, obviously HTML, CSS, a little bit of JavaScript. I'm writing Python scripts and like all this stuff. And I'm just like, I could not do that without AI, you know, and then, so then it becomes, it's more so now like if you have the idea, you can utilize AI to help build that out. And, you know, obviously like we have a whole development team that I work with to make sure, because AI can be wrong. And so you want to make sure you're having troubleshooting from true development professionals. But, you know, I don't have to rely on them to get a lot of the like grunt work done. I can have an AI agent do that for me.
Well, yeah, and I think even getting to like a minimum viable product is faster, right? Like if you had, I think that's one of the coolest things about where AI has kind of taken us, especially recently, is we're taking folks who have like immense amounts of product knowledge, like SEO or organic. Yeah. And they wouldn't necessarily be in a product owner seat normally, but because they have the ability to then think a little bit more creatively about that and go, I'd like a product that could do this.
Yeah.
How cool would that be? Right. Yeah. And then you can now actually find a way to make it so.
Yeah, it feels like magic. I'm not even kidding. Like it's wild because I think back to, you know, 24-year-old Thomas, like, you know, he could have only dreamed of the ability to use some of these tools, you know, and like, it's crazy how fast it's moving.
Well, so. Just this week, this is third week of April. Claude or Anthropic released Claude Design, which is this like really cool iteration on like product development and site development that I think is really neat. Yeah. I haven't really played around with it a ton yet, but I think that there's going to be an interesting. I saw a LinkedIn post from one of my friends who's a UX developer, and he said, "This is just the next iteration. If you are a good product designer already, this is going to 10x you, right? It's not necessarily going to remove your job. It's going to give you a tool that can make you more efficient and effective.
Right. Almost like, you know, you on steroids, to use more of a crude term, but like, it's true, you know, like, I mean, that's, I think a big misconception that people have is, you know, thinking like there's a fear of embracing AI because they think AI will take our jobs. And, you know, I think that it's not so much that like AI will take your jobs. It's more so that like another person that is using AI to 10x themselves could take your job. You get what I'm saying? So why not be the person to embrace the tools to use it? You know what I'm saying?
I agree completely. I think it's the line that we have to really encourage people to like, look, somebody out there is going to be using it.
Right.
That we can't shove Pandora back in the box.
Yeah.
A shout out to Pandora, the original streaming music service.
My wife still uses Pandora.
A lot of people still use Pandora.
That's great.
I can't. That seems crazy to me, but it's true.
Yeah.
And honestly, Pandora had some of the better mixes. I feel like I discovered more stuff. Like I feel like Spotify really does I saw something this morning even that like there's promotional suggestion.
Oh,
which I did not know.
Did not know that either.
And I was like, oh, that's why that's one song keeps coming up every playlist.
You're in the demographic for those ads.
Yeah. apparently. All right, let's kind of move on. Let's talk a little bit about like AI and content or content in the AI age. Obviously, we work in a space where AI is. I mean, I just came back from ISS, and AI was everywhere. That sounds weird the way I phrase that, but like it just was. Yeah. It was just something that a lot of people were talking about. A lot of people were focused on and figuring out how it was going to impact their business. In the content world, obviously, we have a lot of AI advancements that are happening. How is it impacting you and your area of the business? Like talk a little bit about how you've kind of stepped into AI in a bigger way.
Yeah, with respect to content?
Yeah.
So, when it comes to AI content and SEO, there was over the last several years, Google's kind of done a little back and forth thing where they're like, we like AI content, now we don't, now we do. At this point, it sounds like the only thing that Google really cares about is the content helpful? Does it provide value to the end user? Whether it's written by a human or not, at this point, again, it doesn't particularly matter, is my reading on the way that Google looks at these things. So we definitely leverage AI with our writing, but we still always make sure to have a human in the loop. You don't want to just willy-nilly, generate content without having some form of human, QA, if you will. Now, I think the human QA element is becoming less and less of a need over time as the AI writing just gets so much better. I mean, I think back to, 2023 when, ChatGPT was, I think, probably the only tool out there. And I was using that to just generate some content. And I'm like, this needs some work, you know? And now like in 2026, it's like, it's crazy. Like I could line up a fully human written and AI, and in some cases it's very difficult to tell the difference. So we definitely try to leverage it just for that purpose, for scalability. You can build into the prompting, good SEO best practices, which actually, funnily enough, it's what I've been working on today. For some of our products is, a push button content generation approach that, again, still leaves room for the human to go in and QA it.
Right.
But building into the logic of it for some of our, for our CMS product, like making sure that we have the ability to quickly get content generated where it's referencing all of the amenities that a particular location has, the nearby like landmarks, geographical targets, all of the local SEO things that we've done over, that's all worked for decades at this point or however long. But getting it built into a system, that's kind of the name of the game now. It's more like thinking in terms of like building systems rather than just like one-off, tasks, if you will, like building a system that can do those tasks for you.
Right. So I heard somebody reference this at ISS. It might have even been a Go Local person, but the idea that GEO is really just like the next iteration of SEO. What do you think about that?
So I go kind of back and forth. So I think there's GEO it's not like, in my opinion, it's not like a brand new thing necessarily that is decoupled from SEO. I think that it is, to your point, it's sort of like an evolution of it. You still want to have good SEO fundamentals, like is your website crawlable? Do you have right keyword placement? Do you have optimized content in general? Like, do you have proper semantical, heading structure? Like all these things, is the content helpful? All that is super important. But like when it comes to GEO, it is kind of that next level where rather than trying to just optimize for general rankings, now we're trying to optimize our partners' websites so that they can be the true source for the AI search results to pull from, if that makes sense. Because yes, we still want to make sure that we're ranking very highly, but there have been studies out there that have shown, you can rank number one, and sometimes the AI search results that populates above you in Google or what have you, or even just in ChatGPT, sometimes it won't even reference you if you're ranked number 1, right? Sometimes you could be ranking number 4, number 5, it'll reference you, right? So those are decoupled. Is something that people have been noticing. Now the trend tends to be, if you're on the first page, you tend to get referenced more, but it's not in every case, is what some of the studies I've seen recently have shown.
Yeah, Jason and I were talking about this in the last episode about how there's opportunity for even smaller operators in self-storage to, if they embrace and get into providing good local SEO and writing content that is helpful, that they might appear even in those AI results because, and I can't remember exactly how he phrased it, but he said something like, there's value in not just being the obvious answer.
Right.
And I'm like, really? That feels like counterintuitive to what we know about first page ranking and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost, you want to really double down on your niche, so to speak, like if you're, So, it really is about, again, being that reference point rather than just trying to get you to rank on the first page. Like, are you truly the expert, truly the source that the AI can reference as a reputable source? So really, brand monitoring is now, I mean, it's been a thing, but I'd say it's even more important. Like, how is your brand being referenced on other websites, right? And I'm not even talking about just backlinks. Backlinks are obviously important. So another website linking back to your website.
Sure.
But even if you get referenced on another website and there's no backlink, that still plays into the GEO component, how you're getting referenced. Because again, the LLM will crawl that other website, get an understanding of your brand based on the text on that page,
right? And
then that plays into their algorithm. So it's kind of it is sort of another iteration of that.
Yeah. So just for those of you who don't know, we referenced GEO, which is generative engine optimization. Also, some people are calling it AEO as well, I think.
Yeah, answer engine optimization. Yeah, there's a lot of buzzwords out there. I mean, it's effectively just you're doing SEO for AI.
Yeah,
right? You're trying to optimize to show up within AI. Whatever we call it is whatever we call it.
Right.
I remember that a couple of years ago it was SGE, search generative experience. Now nobody even says that term anymore. Now it's more like GEO, AEO, AIO.
Well, anyway. So this
EEIO.
EIO. Yeah. So one of the things that I think that leads us into where is organic traffic going? I mean, the trends certainly suggest that. And it's small right now, but generative answers and AI answers are certainly eating into traffic on sites. Do we think that there's a hockey stick effect about to happen?
It's a great question. I don't know about that, maybe, but I know that what we've been seeing in the organic space is that you're exactly right in that AI search results has been eating into organic search results. So because of that, we are seeing a lot of general organic traffic, just raw numbers have tended to be trending down, not just for our storage operators, but all verticals that we manage. It's a industry-wide thing because people are, again, the way that within Google, the AI search results works is, and we all know this, we've all done this, you do a search, you get your answer right at the top, similar to how we had the zero search result. That was a big thing from 2017, 18, something like that. Maybe even earlier than that. The zero search result, you just get the answer at the very, very top. But now that is AI, and you can take it a step further where you can then start conversing within Google to asking the AI bot, okay, I see that this particular location offers climate control, but do they also offer 5x5 or 5x10 or whatever? Do they have what promos? Do they have what specials? And you can get all of that within the AI search results. Now, the thing with that is, people would before have to click into the website, do the research themselves, and people still do, admittedly. I mean, I'll do that too sometimes. Sometimes I won't read the AI, I'll just click in. But a lot of people are like doing their analysis there. So that traffic that was going there, that was doing their research, and then they might leave, like that's just no longer happening now. So if somebody does come from the AI search results, there's clearly a very high amount of intent there because they've whittled down through the AI bot, chatting with them. Okay, yeah, like now I know for sure this is exactly what I want. So that's when I'm going to click in, versus them having to still be in that research phase, which could potentially have them drop off because it's top of the funnel. So the further down they get, the more likely they are to convert, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why, like we've seen with a lot of AI traffic, the conversion rate tends to be really good.
Oh,
Yeah, it's minimal at this point in a lot of cases, at least based on how we're able to track it. Because that's not to get too in the weeds, but there's another thing with Google specific AI traffic. There are some limitations within our analytics tools to be able to tell exactly if that Google specific traffic was AI or just traditional organic because of just some limitations with Google Analytics. And how the data is getting parsed from there. But we can see, like, if somebody came from ChatGPT, Perplexity, like that's just referral traffic, very easily can see that. But we see that traffic that's coming from these AI search results, like from like ChatGPT, Perplexity, very high conversion rate.
well, that's huge. And I think that to me gives even further reason why it's such an important practice to get your GEO, AEO process kind of dialed in,
Right.
because if it's converting at a higher rate, man, if you can appear in those results, that's what you want.
Right.
All right, let's pivot a little bit. You've been building some really cool tools internally right now. You referenced a little bit earlier. Let's talk about the tools that you're building.
Sure.
For our internal teams, because I think that those are really neat, and you showed me some of them, and I think they're really cool. So.
Sure. Well, not to give the secret sauce away necessarily.
Yeah.
No. So basically, like a lot of the tools that I've been working on building for the team is a lot of content generation components. So ensuring that we're getting high quality localized content for location pages, market amenity, static pages. So obviously heavy focus on storage. Similar on our non-storage verticals, kind of a similar thing, like market pages, static pages for those, all built with the logic of content that we have written in the past, that humans have written, that has done well and that has converted. So again, we're building systems. So we're basically taking all of what has effectively worked with the formatting, the structure, getting that built into a brain, right? And then that brain then is able to generate this sort of content at scale. And we've seen that, it's worked well. And, just continuing to build those tools out to allow things to be more scalable. So that's a big one that I've been working on. Another one is we have a product called Local Lift, which is effectively, it shows, where a particular location is ranking within like a, 2 to 5 mile radius, depending on what radius you want to show, ranking specifically for local, like GBP rankings. So we're able to show that to our partners. So I've found a way to, again, writing some really cool Python scripts, and never thought I'd be doing that. Being able to leverage that to be able to, effectively generate some high quality, reports for our clients, and again, utilizing that tool. And not only that, but for our team to be able to have these reports generated, and then we can take action, and we can effectively see, like, okay, reports generated, here's some issues for this location, let's take action, let's try to make updates for like whether it's like business description or categories, or okay, we need to update the content to be more like this to help with local ranking. So a lot of that, like, actionable steps where the AI is able to generate, rather than the human beings spending 12 hours digging into the tool to pull all this data, like the AI, it doesn't actually take 12 hours. That was exaggerating, but it does take like 4 to 5 hours, let's say.
Sure.
But like you having the AI just do that for us.
Yeah.
And then we, as the experts, the humans, use our brains. Okay, we see this data. Let's make these fixes or make these updates. So that's kind of the name of the game.
I think that right there is the important part of this is right. Like I think that there's a lot of appetite for data.
Yeah.
But what gets lost is the most important thing that you have to have with that data is analysis, right? Like the now what question. Mm-hmm. Right. So what, and I think that's where the human touch comes in a little bit more on, at least from Go Local, right? Where we're ingesting this data, this immense amount of reporting, and we're giving our clients like, here's what this means and here's what to do with it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where we can give people an advantage, because you can do reports. Everybody has access to Google Analytics, right?
Yep.
Like
free tool.
It's a very free tool, but I had access to Google Analytics in my last gig, and I never looked at it because I didn't know what to do with it.
I would say Google Analytics 4. It's been out now for a few years. It's not particularly intuitive. Does require a bit of an expert to go in there and tell you what the heck's going on.
It's not even a little intuitive.
So,
you would think that they could figure out a way to make that a little bit more intuitive.
The old Universal Analytics GA3 was better. I think that's the consensus in our industry. But Google does what they do.
They do what they do.
So, yeah.
All right. So we've been talking about SEO. We've been talking about content a little bit.
Sure.
The products that we're building, I think, are part of this bigger ecosystem that we're trying to provide to our clients. This is kind of the marketing tech. It's like the meaning of marketing and technology together.
Yep.
I think I'm old school, so for me, even the step into that, often I'm like, oh man, this is nerve-wracking a little bit, just because the amount of the speed with which we have to keep up with the technology is just so rapid. Mm-hmm. But I think our responsibility as a provider of service to our clients is for us to give them access to tools and technology that are going to make them better, right? That are going to make available to them better marketing tools.
Right.
Where do you stand with the way that technology enables marketing and marketing enables technology, kind of how we can use them together without losing the human element? Because that was a big theme that I heard from ISS, which was yes, AI, so that people can do people things.
Yeah.
I mean, what was your take on that?
Yeah, no, I mean, it kind of goes back to, again, the whole thing where with my role, like what I'm doing, a big part of what I'm doing is exactly that. Like, we have a lot of partners that, there's certain elements within the marketing side that requires, really in-depth data analysis, right? But a big part of the analysis is you have to pull that data. You have to go to 5 different tools to try to correlate a specific thing before you get the human analysis of all of those things. So a big part of what I'm trying to do is, allow for the data collection component to be automated as much as we can, right? To have potentially like a centralized spot where, whether it's an AI, whether it's scripts, pulling from all these different data sources from one centralized spot to allow us to get a good map viewpoint of, okay, why is this location struggling? Why are rentals down in this particular location? Well, here's all the data that normally, again, across these 5 different platforms would take hours and hours than it typically does. It's all there. Now we can spend more hours analyzing it, executing on the fixes that need to happen. So that's, for me, like, yeah, the data pulling component in my industry is probably the biggest pain point, and to have a lot of that more automated, which is clearly the direction that we're all going, to allow for the human in the loop to analyze that data is, that's the key. And that's I think the differentiating factor on how a marketing agency could differentiate themselves so they don't get left behind. Because, if we're able to leverage AI for that purpose, then again, we can really, really double down on ensuring that we're providing high quality, human analysis.
Right.
So I would say that's the biggest thing where those two can really meet, is, at least for me, like that's a big part of it.
So last question. I think this is a tough one, because I think the landscape is changing so rapidly that it's going to be really tough to answer this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
I'll do my best.
The next 12 months, the landscape of SEO, AEO, GEO, content, etc. Do you have a sense on what you think the next 12, like just your best guess, like what's the next 12 months going to look like?
Oh man, I was hoping you wouldn't ask me this question. I think Bing's going to take over. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, I mean,
Bing's being powered by ChatGPT at this point now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And how is ChatGPT doing lately?
it seems like they're doing all right. $700, $800 billion valuation.
They'll be around, but I've noticed, not to go down this rabbit hole, I've noticed pretty big shift more towards like Claude, Gemini. I personally I used to use ChatGPT all the time. Now I'm using Claude probably the most, as well as Gemini. Not to discredit OpenAI. I think they're going to obviously keep doing what they're doing. And I think I saw a video about the more recent model that's going to come out from from OpenAI is going to be pretty cool. But I wish I had a crystal ball. I would say, like, to predict, the direction we're going is like, more and more like AI is just going to be like taken for granted with the amount of like work that we do. Like it is just an integrated part of our overall workflows. I would say like Google is clearly bought in on it. So I think that more and more, the demand for not just ranking highly, but being visible in the search results, being the source, like I mentioned, is just absolutely paramount. And so that's the direction that we're going as an agency, is not just trying to focus on rankings, but also focusing on, again, that visibility aspect, showing up in the AI section. That's clearly going to be the direct, that is effectively the direction we're going. I think that's clearly going to be the winning factor, is being that overall source and how you optimize for that. Again, still a lot of the general SEO components are there, but it's a little bit of an extra thing where you got to make sure that you're clearly and cohesively answering the long tail queries that people are asking.
This is only our 5th episode of this podcast, and I think the very first episode we were talking about OpenClaw, which for all intents and purposes is not dead, but it's basically been like the amount of work that has gone into co-work, and even OpenAI is kind of releasing their version of that.
Yeah. Well, I think OpenAI bought OpenClaw.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. That's actually not true. They hired the guy who built it.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yes.
Oh.
And and I think he said his intent was to keep it open, but I think OpenClaw is, I wouldn't say it's dead, but like it's like the past already.
Sure.
And we went through this with Melanie Tershak's presentation at ISS, where she did a presentation on SEO to GEO.
Yeah.
But she had to submit it like 6 months in advance.
Yeah.
And
so a lot of
and
it
so
might
like
not be
being
as
able to
relevant.
print. So the truth is the reason I say that is because I feel like asking where is GEO going to be in 12 months is a trick question. None of us know.
Right.
Like the acceleration with which these things are going is just, it's so rapid. It's so fast.
Yeah.
And you did a good job answering it. It's almost like a joke question, because the truth is I don't know where it's going to be in 3 months.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like AI, the time scale is so different. Like, ChatGPT came out in 2022. That was 4 years ago, almost 4 years, because it was later in 2022. So let's say 5 years ago. Yeah. When it feels like, that feels like over a decade ago at this point, with how things have advanced, Yeah. And like, They say like if you look on YouTube, like the test for where AI is, it's people generating a video of Will Smith eating spaghetti.
We talked about that on our first
Did
episode.
you?
Yeah.
Love that. So if you look at it from 2022 and 2023, it's like it clearly just looks like a fever dream. It looks horrific,
Yeah,
right?
it's terrifying.
You can see like the watermark from like iStock or whatever, because the AI was trained on stock images. And then like 2024, it was still Canny Valley, but like better. 2025, it was just like, oh, is this AI? And now it's like you can't even like.
Yeah,
it's just so advanced.
I think we can tell because we've almost trained our eyes to see AI.
Yeah, because if it's like too perfect,
right? If it's too, but I agree that the distance that they've come on that,
it's crazy
in just a short amount of time is so insane.
Yeah, it's wild.
I know Hollywood's worried about it, but like, you know, my hope is that, and I think this is true, especially when it comes to content, and we can maybe end on this, is that the idea is, and you said it earlier, is it matters if it's helpful.
Yeah.
Right. And I used to talk to student groups all the time when I was working at the university, and the thing that I would always tell them is good stories always win. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the same idea, is like, as long as it's helpful, where it comes from, it doesn't matter nearly as much, but it definitely does matter that you have a point of view that is helpful. Mm-hmm. And I think everybody's worried that, you know, AI writers are going to take over Hollywood. Well, AI ain't coming up with Fight Club.
Yeah.
You know?
That's right.
At least I don't think so.
Great movie.
I mean, I love you, Claude, but maybe not.
Right.
Celebrating its 25th anniversary, I think, this week.
That's wild.
I know. Yeah. My nephew wants to see it.
Yeah.
He's
how old is he?
15.
Oh, okay. He never seen it?
He's never seen it.
It's a great film. Can't talk about it though.
No.
First and second rule.
First and second rule. All right, with that, we're gonna end the show. Thanks, Thomas, for being here and for being a part of the Go Local Brief. We will be back with another conversation in the future. So thanks.